Where moments ago, the sheriff's office announced that they strongly believe they have found the remains of Lonzie Barton after a nearly 6-month-long search for the toddler. We have a live picture from the scene where police officers say that Ruben Ebron, the main suspect in the child's disappearance, led them to that scene.
Justice is sometimes slow and sometimes piece by piece. Today is just another piece of the justice that we have. Finding the body is a very, very large piece of that.
We have aerial footage now of the area the investigators were searching today. Sources tell us that Ruben Ebron led police, directed them here to this area last night, and that skeletal remains of a child were found, covered, that is, excuse me.
It is the day many in our community feared would come, that Lonzie Barton, who was reported missing in July 24th, would be found dead, which apparently he has been found dead.
State Attorney Angela Corey said legal proceedings allowed the state to work with Ebron's defense team to find the body, and it was located in a wooded area off of Phillips Highway near 9B. That's about 9 miles away from the apartment where Ebron reported the toddler missing that night. Here's what we know right now. Shortly after 10 this morning, we were told that Ebron's trial on charges of child neglect, lying to police, and tampering with evidence was postponed. And just before 11 this morning, News 4 Jax learned of a search on the south side. Around 1 o'clock this afternoon, a crime scene van arrived at the scene. Then we were told that Ebron would plead guilty to charges of aggravated manslaughter. But then we were told the deal was not happening. And finally, police said in a news conference that they strongly believe Lonzie's body had been found. News 4 Jax is following the huge developments in this case, and we'll have expert analysis in just a bit. But we begin with Channel 4's Tarek Miner, who's been at the scene since early this morning. Tarek.
And Mary, Sheriff Mike Williams and Chief Fred Hackney both saying today that it was a very sad day when they both have realized that they have found the remains of a child, but also calling it a very happy day, the first step in that they were getting justice for 21-month-old Lonzie Barton. A memorial has already started to grow here. The Justice Coalition here putting signs there against this fence. Justice will be served. We love you, Lonzie. One says hashtag Justice for Lonzie, no plea deal. The other, thank you, JSO and Chief Hackney. Now, the sheriff believes Lonzie Barton was dead before he was reported missing on July the 24th. His body discovered in what police call a garbage heap. We want to show you some aerial footage of the area where police concentrated their efforts today, in a lot near a mobile home and what appears to be a shed there as well. It is a dead-end road where Lonzie's body was likely disposed of in a hurry. Deputies confirmed that Ruben Ebron did lead investigators to this location last night, and we also learned that he came here. Ruben Ebron was here in a police van showing them where he had left the body. Chief Hackney, who's been the face of this investigation, told us that no child should be discarded in this manner.
That little boy didn't need to be discarded like a piece of trash, and today we are able to take what we believe to be him from being disposed just like that, in the hopes that he can spend his eternity in somewhere that's peaceful and not somewhere that is basically a garbage heap. And that's just wrong. This family of this community is really Lonzie's family, and they love him. The investigative team, I can tell you, they take it with them to bed every night. Today's actions, today's recoveries, and what led us here is, again, it's just a piece of that justice.
Police spent 142 days, they say, working on this case. It's sometimes 425 people working daily to find Lonzie Barton, 38 different agencies across the state. And in the end, it was one man who had all the information the whole time. And now Ruben Ebron's future and Lana Barton's future uncertain. Well, live here in Bayard, I'm Tarek Miner, Channel 4, the local station.
Thank you, Tarek. State Attorney Angela Corey said she has a team of 3 prosecutors who've been working on the Lonzie Barton investigation.
Corey was there this afternoon as police announced the news. Channel 4's Chris Parento has more.
Mary, Angela Corey said that she wasn't sure what led to that scheduled hearing that she mentioned this afternoon for Ruben Ebron, where we thought that a plea agreement might have been reached. She didn't say why that was canceled, but she said she's going to look into it and figure it out. She also says that right now she can't comment on any specifics of any potential plea deal, only that they are continuing to investigate this case as they do. She mentioned that a case like this can be very complex, can be very difficult for them in court and in their investigations. She said that last week when Lonzie Barton pled guilty to her child neglect charges, it started a series of meetings with Ruben Ebron and his defense team that led to where we are today and the events of today. So last week when Barton entered that plea, she went from a co-defendant in the case of the disappearance, or I'm sorry, of the child neglect. In that case, she went from a co-defendant to a prosecution witness that was going to testify against Ruben Ebron. I asked Ms. Corey if she had gone back to being a co-defendant in this case. Here's what she had to say.
It will depend on whether or not we have to continue with a trial on whatever charges with William Ebron or anyone else who may or may not be involved. So right now she has entered a plea and her sentence will be pending until we're done with this part of the investigation. Again, a huge development, and as you know, Director Hackney said, a very comforting development. I can't say it's happy, but in a sense it is, because we found this child.
Corey asked for the community to be patient with them right now as they move forward in this investigation, saying that things like this often take a lot of time, as was mentioned earlier. 142 days from when Lonzie Barton disappeared to today, where we are here, where JSO believes they have found his remains. She asked that people be patient and let them do their investigation. Every bit of information, she says, that people will want to know, they will eventually know once they have it and once they can release it. Live in Bayard, I'm Chris Parento, Channel 4, the local station.